human life is in your hand, whoever flying on the helicopter, so you have to put a lot of your work into it, thinking about their life, thinking about their safety.
It can be tough at times because you, like let's say flying school, you have 2 years, you need to finish around 16 to 17 exams and you have to fly at the same time. My name is AIDAN. I'm working in Systematic Aviation Services as a helicopter pilot. 26 years old and about 6 years of experience.
So my name is KUKANIS. I am 42 years old. I could say 42 years young. I am a senior aircraft maintenance engineer for Bell 470X helicopter. I've been working in aviation industry for about 15 years. So my specialization is for aircraft maintenance for structure on the engine, the components. So we do maintenance on these parts.
So there's a slight difference between helicopters and fixed wing. So fixed wing are more to larger aircrafts and they also have smaller aircrafts, but they're more to airport operations. And they can carry more passengers, more cargo, but they cannot land in jungles or confined areas. Yeah, so that's where helicopters come in. Sometimes we send people into the jungle and lift stuff underneath the aircraft when you need to build constructions like power lines and stuff. Our main role as a pilot, especially a helicopter pilot, is to fly the aircraft safely, do mission planning, and also the overall leading of the team.
In order for pilot to fly, you need an aircraft maintenance engineer to certify the aircraft to say that the aircraft is fit to fly. In other words, it's safe to fly. So helicopter basically calls rotor wing. So we got a main rotor blade, which is the most obvious part on the top of the helicopter. And the second one, you need to have a tail rotor blade to compensate a torque reaction from the main rotor blade. You need to have engine. So we got engine for that. So you need to have a fuselage where a pilot, passenger to sit inside. Like car, you need to have an indicator. So we call navigation system, where we have GPS, altimeter, we got airspeed, and so on and so forth. So we need to have all this.
We have a lot to do. So we have our right hand to control the cyclic, which controls our direction. Our left hand, collective, to control the height. And then our pedals, both feet are on the pedals the whole time to control our yaw. So you have that. You need to monitor the gauges. You need to know the weather. You need to know your route. You have to speak with the tower, other aircraft around you. And you gotta be mindful of emergencies at all times. So if you see right behind me, you have a Bell 505, it's a two-bladed. And then you have a Robinson 66, which is another two-bladed. This is good for commercial work. But we also have three-bladed, the AS350, and the four-bladed Bell 407, which are very powerful aircraft. When you go for the three and four-bladed, they're more powerful, more faster, less vibrations, and you can do more work with them. Some they use like 5, some even 5-bladed, some even up to 6, 8-bladed. Yeah. We can send people from an accident site or let's say SUBANG circuit where they do F1 and MotoGP races. If the rider is too critical, we can send them to the hospital for immediate medical attention. Or sometimes where there happens to be natural disasters like floods in Kelantan 2014 and then the floods in Temerloh, Pahang. So we can send in aid, food, medical supplies to the cut-off areas. Just last year we went over to Sarawak. So going to Sarawak itself is already very interesting because with a helicopter we cannot go straight across. So it takes us around 10 hours to fly. So we hop into different islands in Indonesia all the way to Kuching and to Miri. The important usage of a helicopter to transport ballot boxes is there are so many different kampungs within Sarawak, thousands. Let's just say for one kampung, it took us around 1 hour to fly there to take the ballot boxes. But by land, it takes us 8 hours. 8 days to get there. But by helicopter, it's only 1 hour.
So aircraft maintenance engineer can be divided into about 5 levels. The first one we call as aircraft maintenance engineer, who is specializing in a fixed wing or in aeroplane which have a turbine engine. The other one is specializing in a piston engine. The third one would be aircraft maintenance engineer specializing in helicopter for turbine engine, which is where I come from. The fourth one, we call it specializing for piston engine. There are helicopters with piston engine as well. And the final one, specializing in avionics, basically on all electronic parts. So this is our sub-specialized trade, we call it. Alright, we have few jargons, and one of the thing is we'll do a circle signal, meaning that the rotor is turning. So when we do signal like that, meaning that aircraft engine is shut down. When helicopter approach, when you put a cross between our both hands, meaning the aircraft has arrived to the point where we want the aircraft to arrive. When we put both our hand downwards and cross, meaning that the aircraft because helicopter hovers, so the helicopter comes down slowly and land on the tarmac that we want the helicopter to land. We also call a flight manual, which is called FM, or aircraft flight manual, or AFM. This manual will be in board of an aircraft which the pilot carry along. So in the moment of flying, you need to refer to the aircraft manual to check the flight performance. You can use that manual. So to know the procedure, we got another document which is called the aircraft maintenance manual. So that particular manual we call as AMM. Safety is our number one role, because if the aircraft is not safe, we as an engineer will not allow the aircraft to fly, because it's under our responsibility. That's why this job carries a lot of risk behind it. Before every flight, we do call pre-flight inspection. We go around the aircraft to make sure the aircraft is safe.
So, contrary to normal belief, is that it's made out of glass. It's not actually made out of glass, it's made out of fiber plastic. So it's actually malleable. So you can actually press on it and it can bend. Helicopter operations is between 1,000 to 1,500 feet. So birds are regularly around below 2,000 feet. So there are chances that you might hit a bird. Sometimes if you're really high speed, low, and the bird comes at a proper angle, it can actually break the glass. It doesn't happen as often, yeah. But it is treated as an emergency and we will just land as soon as possible.
For me, the most challenging thing about working with helicopter is about the flight control. Meaning that you need to make sure when you install this helicopter, when the pilot put an input, meaning that he wants to turn to the left, aircraft need to turn to the left. So that's the reason why even before we allow passenger to sit, we put ourselves inside right after a maintenance to make sure when the pilot put these inputs, the aircraft move accordingly.
It can be tough at times because you, like let's say flying school, you have 2 years, you need to finish around 16 to 17 exams and you have to fly at the same time. So sometimes you have morning, you take off around 7, you land around let's say 8 or 9, 9:30 you're in class already. And then 2 o'clock, maybe you might fly again or you might have exam. Yeah. Some fun flights I would say are like proposal flights. So the guy proposed on flight, so they have roses, they just keep it aside and stuff like that. So in flight they will just propose in flight. And I believe there's a lot of room for growth for helicopter aviation in Malaysia, for transportation and also for building constructions and surveys.
Anything that you've got passion on it, you will be successful, you will be knowledgeable, because your passion will drive you to work hard So I chose aircraft maintenance engineering, specializing in helicopter because that's my passion. That's why for me work is not a work. For me work is a passion. I enjoy my job.